Good, bad, I'm the guy with the crossbow. No topic will ever cause more heated debates between D&D players than when someone starts arguing about alignments. Players can easily agree on what is good or evil or chaotic or lawful, but when you cross those continuum lines, it starts to blur their meanings. This means that trying to figure out the 9 alignments turns into a big debate within a group. The key is to understand that law is not good and evil is not chaos. Let's start with the difference between being lawful and good. Let's think of this as the separation of church and government. Turning to the other cheek and doing unto others are both examples of being a good character. Reporting someone cheating on a test or admitting to speeding when pulled over are things that a lawful character would do. Evil and chaos also have blurry lines. Both of these characters are more selfish than lawful or good characters. Evil characters are those that are willing to do truly dark deeds without any feeling of guilt or remorse. An evil character will enjoy killing, stealing, slaveholding, and other acts of savagery against their fellow beings. Chaotic characters just don't care for the laws unless they agree with their own personal moral outlook. Chaotic does not mean mentally insane. Still confused? That's okay, because we're going to talk about the alignments one at a time now. Lawful good is the Boy Scout moral outlook. Most people play this as the I must go fight evil wherever it may be alignment, to the point that the character has next to no regard for their own personal safety. Instead, this is the honorable church-going cop that follows the books but is not afraid to give his life in the service of protecting others. Neutral good is the priest. This is the character that believes in only doing the right thing. All of their actions come from feelings of love and peace. Lawful good will debate issues from the moral high ground of what is best for the good of all. Chaotic good is the Robin Hood that is willing to forget the law the second that it turns upon the people. Also, they are the first to rebel against laws which seeks to oppress the masses for the betterment of the few. Lawful neutral is the judge that must stay true to the law. The Judge Dredd comic book character is a good example of this alignment. This character will follow any law or rule no matter how fair or unjust it may be. True neutral is the pure neutral alignment. A wild animal or feral human with no moral guidance will have this alignment. This is because they have no knowledge of good and evil or law and chaos. Chaotic neutral is the pirate alignment. This kind of character is in it for himself, but he has as much potential for good as he does for evil. These tend to be the tragic or anti-hero characters that have a villainous past but want to be the hero. Lawful evil is the crooked lawyer mentality. This character is willing to do anything that they can get away with under the laws of the land. They will never break a written or verbal contract, but will always seek to twist them so that they are the only ones that benefit. This is also the evil minion alignment, where might makes right and the powerful are the ones that rule the masses. Neutral evil is the pure evil alignment. Undead creatures created with dark magic and mindless killers are both examples of true evil. This is the hardest alignment to play as a character within a party of adventurers because it's not a sociable alignment. Chaotic evil is the supervillain or serial killer mentality. These characters have a very strong and twisted personal code that they must follow. This means that they commit evil acts such as murder and theft as long as it is done their way. They have no problems with stabbing others in the back or killing a party member in order to gain a large share of the loot. Speaking of dealing with the rest of the party, either I'm beginning to like her or... So you have your character's backstory and their moral outlook figured out. But what about how they are going to react to the rest of the party? Just because two players are best friends or in a romantic relationship doesn't mean that your characters have to be as well. Alright, maybe in some relationships you better stay faithful even in-game. Now there are two schools of thought about inter-character relationships. The first is that you start with no one knowing each other and they get to meet each other in-game. The other is to have the heroes already know each other and having already worked out a group dynamic. Both of these have their own bonus based upon the adventure. Having characters meet up in the game is great when you're doing a long campaign so that each of the characters gets their own screen time. This allows for a DM to set up scenes to give a larger image of the gaming world. The downside is that it takes away from the action as it eats up more gaming time. Having new characters already being part of an adventuring party is the quick and dirty version. While this also speeds up the game faster to the action, it also removes the work that the DM needs to put in to get some random group of creatures together. No matter which of these two methods the DM plans to use to establish the group, it is still a good idea for the players to try and work out the party dynamics beforehand. This is so that the group knows how it is going to fill the different party social roles: the leader, the lance, the brain, the hulk, and the heart. The leader is the natural figurehead of the group. They are someone to speak for everyone or to make the final choice that the others are going to follow. The leader is also responsible for settling debates between party members. D&D leaders have a tendency to be from the warrior, paladin, or cleric classes. The lancer is the second in command and will function in the leader's place if needed. Lancers also tended to be the ones to challenge the leader. If the party ever breaks into smaller groups, the lancer is the first to offer to take command of the second team. Lancers are normally of the rogue, ranger, or warrior classes. The brain is the heavy thinker of the party. This is the character that others are going to turn to when they need advice or some random piece of lore. The brains will also have a large number of the non-combat skills that the group will need. In order to have the skills, the brains is going to come from the skill-heavy classes of cleric, wizards, sorcerer, thief, and bard. I take it you can guess what the Hulk does. These are the heavy-lifting, huge, weapon-swinging, damage-soaking battle turtles of D&D. Where the brain has focused on non-combat, the Hulk has focused on nothing but battle. Now, this doesn't just mean that they have focused on weapon and armor skills. In fact, magic users can also be the Hulk characters by foregoing non-combat magic and abilities for those that make them even more lethal. The common classes for the Hulk are sorcerer, druid, warlock, warrior, and barbarian. The heart is the one personality in the group that isn't tied to a character class, but rather the alignment of the character and the role. The heart will be the purest and least jaded of the characters, so this will tend to be the youngest or more naive party member. This is the character that helps keep the party on the hero's path of being good and just. Because of the alignment restrictions, monk and paladin classes naturally end up in this role.